This is 21 Questions. It's a little trivia podcast that I put out on Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday of each week. My name's Mike. I've been running trivia shows in pubs and clubs for over 20 years. I've done thousands of them, and now I'm in your phone. Thank you for listening. Love that you're here. Let's play. Question 1. What name is given to the putting surface on each hole of a golf course? That'd be the green. A nice easy one to get us started there. Question 2, also the name of a chain of running shoe shops here in Australia. What is Tinea pedis also known as? It'll be athlete's foot. Question 3, which M is a major city in the UK but also the name of over 30 localities in the USA and the surname of the singer Melissa? Melissa Manchester or Manchester. Did she have the been around the world and I can't find my baby? That's very poor babysitting if that's the case. I've had babies before and they don't do much. It's hard to lose one. Once they're 2 or 3, it's very easy to lose one because they run away. But when they're a baby, they just hang, man. That's what they do. Question 4 is always a true or false in this podcast, and today is no different. True or false? The chemical symbol for nitrogen is simply the letter N. Is that true? Is that false? N for nitrogen is T for true. Good, it is. Question 5. Is the model and actress Liz Hurley closer in age to 50, 55, or 60? How old is Liz Hurley? Liz Hurley will turn 60 in June. June 10. I better remember to send her a card, actually. Question 6. Which mythological creature has the body of a lion, the head of a human, and is said to guard the pyramids of Egypt? That's the Sphinx, as in, I Sphinx, I love you. I do apologise. Question 7. Which famous actor's alleged last words were, I should never have switched from scotch to martinis? And I'll give you multiple choice. Was it Clark Gable? Was it Humphrey Bogart? You should never have switched from scotch to martinis. That's my very dodgy Humphrey Bogart impression, because it was allegedly Humphrey Bogart that says that. Now, the truth is, no one really has been able to confirm that, but that is the myth or the legend, and it's a good story. After question 7, we do the first clues for this episode's Who Am I? Here we go. Who am I? I was born in Lubbock, Texas in 1936, and I didn't live long enough to see 1960. I was from a musical family. My real first name was Charles, but I was always known by a nickname. I think you might know who that is already, and if you don't, I think you will by the end. Question 8, let's go. Which G is a book in the Bible, a band that had a hit with Invisible Touch, and a brand of luxury car? That's Genesis. Genesis. Question 9. Which actor links the movies Dirty Dancing and Ghost? The late great Patrick Swayze. Question 10. If you are seeing the sights of Helsinki, are you in Finland, Poland, or Hungary? You're in Finland. Question 11. Another true or false. Here we go. True or false. In 2008, Placido Domingo released an album of songs based on the poems of Pope John Paul II. That's a little bit obscure. I guess everyone will be guessing, but I do tend to write the true-false to be sort of a guess. So, did you guess true or false? Maybe you didn't guess at all. Maybe you said true, which is the correct answer, and the reason you said true is because you own that album. You might. The album was called Amore Infinito, which is Italian for Preach It, Big Daddy. It isn't. I made that up. Amore Infinito means infinite love in Italian. Good. Question 12. Is Le Mans 24, also known as the 24 Hours of Le Mans, a famous motor race or foot race? It's a motor race, and I'm pretty sure that's the one where at the start you have to run to your vehicle and jump on and scream away. Question 13. Professor Plum and Colonel Mustard are characters in which board game? And obviously, I have to take two different answers here. Now, in Australia, we call it Cluedo, but around the rest of the world, it's called Clue. Also a live stage show these days, which I haven't seen, but I'd like to. Sounds interesting. Question 14. What word is both a component of blood and a type of television not sold since 2014? Remember plasma TVs? They were a big deal for a while there. They became obsolete in 2014. There's just better technology out there. More clues now for the Who Am I? I think the Texas lad who died young. Here we go. Who am I? I played piano as a boy, but I didn't love it. I switched to guitar when my brother bought one home, and I started playing mostly country music. In my late teens, I appeared on the same bill as Elvis a couple of times and switched to rock and roll. I got a recording contract in which my last name was spelled incorrectly, but I didn't care. I was on my way. So a guy, Texan, real name Charles, guitar player, rock and roller. Who could that possibly be? More clues, or final clues I should say, after question 20. For now though, question 15. What was the name of the comic book hero, the Phantom's wolf? Phantom had a wolf. What was the wolf called? That would be Devil. That would be Devil. See if you can find on YouTube the Phantom rap by an Australian comedian who I won't name because we're not friends, but it was a pretty funny song. The Phantom rap, I want to say late 80s or so. Question 16. Which South American country, starting with C, is the city Medellin in? South American country, there aren't that many that start with C. Did you guess Colombia? Colombia, and a big hello to my friend Gilberto, who is from Colombia and who helped me with the previous podcast. Question 17. Which word beginning with S is the formal Japanese for goodbye? That would be sayonara. Question 18. Which unit of measurement for temperature begins with the letter K? That's Kelvin. Kelvin. I didn't realise that was actually a unit of measurement as well, because I once played indoor cricket with a guy called Kelvin. Question 19. Still alive or not so much? That's where I give you the name of a famous person and you tell me if you think they're still alive or not so much. Today, Michael Gambon, who played Albus Dumbledore in the final 6 Harry Potter movies. Is Michael Gambon alive or dead? So the two actors that played Dumbledore in all of the Harry Potter movies, the original ones, are both dead. It was Richard Harris for the first 2, he died, and then Michael Gambon took over the role, and he passed away on the 27th of September 2023. Michael Gambon, sadly, is dead. Question 20. Was Bob Marley's hit song Buffalo Soldier a hit 2 years before or 2 years after his death? Buffalo Soldier released 2 years after Bob Marley's death. That is 20 questions done. Final clues now for the Who Am I? Who am I? My biggest hit was almost called Cindy Lou, but my drummer suggested we name it after his girlfriend instead, and that song became my second hit after my first hit, which was That'll Be the Day. On February 3, 1959, I drew straws against my bandmates and won, and I say won in inverted commas, leading to an incident that Don McLean would later call the day the music died. I am Buddy Holly. Buddy Holly died at 22. And the Peggy Sue in the song, that song was originally called Cindy Lou, but Buddy's drummer, a guy called Jerry Allison, suggested that they name it after his girlfriend. Her name was Peggy Sue Gagarin. There you go. Alrighty. That is the 21 questions done that I ask you every week. Time now for the player question. This is where you can submit a player question if you want, and I will ask it on this show. It's a little bit of fun, something we do at the end of each episode. I get lots of questions coming in, and that's a good thing because I need lots, because episode 50, this is episode 39, episode 50 is going to be entirely made up of player questions. I mentioned it last episode, but I'll just say it again. Can someone send me some easy ones, please? Everyone is sending me the hardest question they can possibly possibly think of, which is cool, but it's not going to make for a fun episode for the, just average people listening to this show. They're going to go, I don't know, and what's more, I don't care. So I probably should have put the call out for easy questions earlier than I have. You live and you learn, don't you? But in my defense, I've never said I was good at this. So send me some easy questions of varying degrees of difficulty. But whether I use it in the player question episode or not, I commit to using every single question that everyone ever sends me. When you send me a question, I will acknowledge your message, let you know I've got it, and it will turn up eventually. How do you send me a question? Well, I'm glad you asked. There's two ways. You can send me a question via Facebook. I've got a Facebook page called 21 Questions by Trivia Tribe. You'll know it. It's the same logo as the podcast you're listening to now. Or you can do what a lot of people seem to be doing and email me direct. It's Mike, M-I-K-E, at triviatribe.com.au. Send me an email there and I'll acknowledge that, same as I would if you send me a message, and you will hear your name and your question come up on an episode at some point. Last episode, Janice sent me, true or false, Tasmania produces more opium poppies used for medicinal purposes than any other location in the world. And Janice, great question. The answer is true. Turns out we grow a lot of opium down there in Tassie. Who knew? I'll tell you who knew. Janice knew. Tell you who didn't. Me. This episode, Helen from Maroochydore, who has sent me a question once before. Thank you, Helen. You're lovely. I love this question because it touches on one of my favourite topics, which is, of course, the Beatles. And she asks, from left to right, which order are the Beatles crossing on the Abbey Road album cover? Oh, that's such a good question. I've been a Beatles fan all my life and I'm not sure I know. Great question, Helen. I love it. Answer next episode. I feel like I've finished. Do you feel like we've finished? We've done the 21 questions. We did the Who Am I? We did the player question. I put out the call for more questions for episode 50. I probably should tell you something along the lines of, if you're new here, I'll be surprised if you made it this far, but if you did, yay! And if you'd like to listen more, there are 37 other episodes you can get into. It's a choose-your-own-adventure situation. You can start from the current ones and work backwards, and you'll notice the episodes get less good. Or you can start at the beginning and go, I can't believe he kept going with this, and see the podcast evolve to the point where it's got to now. And I know it's still not perfect, but I'm working on it, and I love your support while I'm doing that. I did radio for years, and let me tell you, podcasting is harder than radio. I never thought it would be. Anyway, I love that you're here with me on the journey, as they say. This podcast comes out every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I love this. This is so much fun. Thank you for being here with me. Come back in a couple of days. We'll do it all again. My name is Mike van Acker. I love you. Bye.